Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Walberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is the tip to top all tips, the tip to rule them all, and that is become more listener-centric. I know. Tim, I hear you say this all the time over and over again. You nag, you keep harping on this. Tim, I already know how important it is. Tim, I know that when I become more listener-centric, my podcast becomes easier to produce, easier to promote, and has a bigger impact on my audience. I know all this. Terrific. That's great. I'm glad you've been listening. So how do we do it? Well, here's 3 ways to make your show more listener-centric. Number 1. Engage your audience. As much as you want your audience to engage with you, you have to engage with them. Maybe that's through social media. Being where they are is important. Hang out where they hang out. Join their groups. Join their conversations. Listen to what they're talking about. Ask questions. Ask questions in your newsletter. Ask questions on your show. Do a survey. SpeakPipe and Voxer are voice messaging systems that can help you do this too. Find out their pain points and solve their problems. Give your listener different ways to engage with you other than just your show. You need to have multiple points of contact to have an impact. Make it easy for your listener to extend the experience of your show by continuing the conversation. The second way to be more listener-centric is to look at your analytics and make sure that you truly understand who they are and what they want. You can see what they want by looking at your stats and seeing what topics are resonating. If you've done a great job with your titles, just looking at the top 10 most listened to episodes will tell you what your audience really cares about. But how about using the analytics tools that are out there? Through social media, through your email service provider. Look at the demographics of your Facebook audience. When did you do that last? Or ever? You might be targeting 20-year-old dudes, but 40-year-old women are the ones listening. Google Analytics will tell you who's visiting your website regularly. You may find out some surprising info there the next time you look. So check out your analytics for more deets and more depth of who's listening and what they want. And the third way to become more listener-centric is to constantly think about and consider your listener. Now, the easiest way to do that is to post a picture of your avatar or ideal listener where you record. So they're in sight all the time. Seriously, pick a face from the internet, one who matches your avatar, and give them a name. Have it next to your mic or by your notes. Maybe it's someone you've helped in the past, and they were your ideal client or customer, and you would love to have more of those people listening to your show. I challenge you to do that for 3 months. Put a picture up. See if that changes your perspective on what you say and how you say it. By seeing that listener's face, it'll force you to ask yourself the question, is Morgan going to care about this? Is Morgan going to want to know more about this? Is this something Morgan can use? Is there a takeaway for Morgan this episode? If your show helps one person, I guarantee there's another Morgan right behind them looking for the same help or insight. Make that part of your checklist before you record, just like you check your mic. You test your levels, you got your water by you, you have a notepad and pen. Ask this question to yourself. Is this episode, this topic, something that matters to my listener? Will my listener get a win out of today's episode? If they won't, put a little more effort into it before you hit record. Make sure you're serving your listener. So to recap, top 3 ways to be more listener-centric. Number 1, reach out and engage more with your audience. Number 2, research the analytics for more insight on who you're talking to and what they want. And number 3, remember who your listener is by posting a picture of them. Reach out, research, and remember. There is a big lineup of people waiting to talk to you, because you're the expert and you have the answers. By becoming more listener-centric, you can increase the impact your podcast has on your listener. You'll have more engagement coming your way, and you'll ultimately achieve your podcast goals faster. And I hope that's just the tip you need. Did you get anything out of this? Are you doing all of these 3 things already? Well, then you must be killing it. And you probably don't need my help, but maybe you just want to talk. Well, I'm here. We can do that. I love doing that. But if you want to talk about your show that needs a little more work, I can do that too. Book your free 15-minute coaching call to talk about your show, your podcast, what's working for you, and what might not be working for your show. Book your free 15 today. Just go to podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Walbert. See ya!